Hello everybody, I'm Vice Admiral Sean Buck. I'm the Superintendent here at the United States Naval Academy. My wife Joanne and I are incredibly excited to welcome you to our Naval Academy family, and we really look forward to getting to know all of you over the next 3 years. A little bit about myself. I'm a native of Indianapolis, Indiana, a graduate of the great class of 1983 at the Naval Academy, and I pursued a career in naval aviation, a naval flight officer by trade. When I came back to the Naval Academy as superintendent, I brought a little bit of a family legacy, and I tell everyone, I'm proud to tell everyone, I've come home. My father was a 1948 Alpha graduate of the Naval Academy, the last 3-year class after World War II. My mom was born and raised here in Annapolis. I'm the grandson of a senior chief petty officer who was stationed here in the late 20s. I was married here, met my wife, fell in love and got married here at the chapel. Both my children were baptized in our chapel here at the Academy. I've had 2 uncles and 3 cousins attend, and my mom and dad are buried here now over in the columbarium on the yard. So I truly have come home, and I would suggest to you my leadership style that your sons and daughters will experience while they're here under my watch is that I lead and manage this place like this is my home and my family. All the structure here at the Naval Academy I treat just like I would treat my home. And all of us that work here, whether you're a midshipman, staff, faculty, or coach, or a wage grade earner, I treat each and every one of you like you're my family. Yes, these 2 pictures are of Sean Buck back in 1979 and 1983 on the right. That left-hand picture is about 5 minutes after my mom and dad dropped me off for my induction day in early July of 1979. If you look close enough, you see a very scared young man of age 17 and a half coming just out of high school. And that picture to the right is me during my first class year as a senior. And as you can see now, as I speak with you, a lot of things have changed over 39 years. Moms and dads, when you dropped your children off with us just a few days ago, you watched them take the first steps in the adventure of a lifetime. I remember it like it was just yesterday, the feeling of leaving my friends and family during the summer of 1979. But I knew then, and I'm certain now, that the next 4 years would be some of the best, most influential years of my entire life. As you saw in the pictures in the last slide, your sons and daughters will come a long way over the next 4 years. But I guarantee you will start seeing positive changes over only the next 6 weeks. While a more aerodynamic haircut may be the most obvious sign, you're going to notice subtle changes that mark the beginning of your child's transformation into a midshipman of the United States Naval Academy. You may see them walking taller, saying a few more sirs and ma'ams, and maybe even yelling "Beat Army" every time they turn a corner. Don't worry, it's all normal. Like I said before, when you dropped your children off, you started them on a journey that will see them discover the best of friends, travel all over the world, and grow in ways that are only possible when you make the selfless decision to serve something bigger than yourself. While I know this moment is never easy, and this year especially, your I-Day goodbyes probably didn't look like you had in mind a few months ago, please trust that we have incredible men and women in charge of looking out for your sons and daughters. This year especially, we are taking every precaution possible to make sure your children remain safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. You will hear more details about those precautions later in this presentation. But please know, when you dropped your children off in Annapolis, they became part of the Naval Academy family, and we treat each and every one of these young men and women as if they were our own. All that said, in reality, let's be honest. We all know what your children were really worried about when you were hugging them goodbye. While we didn't have cell phones to be distracted by back in 1979, I remember thinking about how many days there were until Christmas when I'd see my folks again, while my mom was crying and my dad was sending me off with a firm handshake. The first of many passages and phrases that your sons and daughters will have to memorize this summer is the Naval Academy mission statement: to develop midshipmen morally, mentally, and physically, and to imbue them with the highest ideals of duty, honor, and loyalty in order to graduate leaders who are dedicated to a career of naval service and have potential for future development in mind and character to assume the highest responsibilities of command, citizenship, and government. These words and the ideals which they represent are what separate the Naval Academy from every other undergraduate institution, including other service academies. At the Naval Academy, we groom your midshipmen, your children, to assume the highest responsibilities of command, citizenship, and government. Simply put, we're preparing midshipmen to lead inside and outside the military, on the battlefield, in the boardroom, in their communities, and in the highest offices of our government. And as you can see here, we only select the best to fulfill that mission. The class of 2024 stands as one of the most successful classes we have ever welcomed to the Naval Academy. We have accomplished scholars, varsity athletes, and student body leaders from all across the country. Additionally, class of 24 features the highest ever percentage of female candidates and is one of the most ethnically diverse groups we've had in an incoming plebe class. Those two numbers in particular are important to me because we pride ourselves on striving to create a community that better reflects our United States as a whole. We have midshipmen from every state and territory, but we recognize how important it is to emphasize the gender and racial diversity of our students. Moms and dads, make no mistake, this goal is essential to achieving our mission of providing leaders for the Navy. Our fleet is made up of sailors and Marines from every different background and walk of life, and we must create officers who are capable of leading those incredible men and women with compassion, courage, and empathy. As we grow those leaders over the next 4 years, your sons and daughters will have some incredible opportunities to develop themselves morally, mentally, and physically. You'll hear a lot more about those opportunities later in this presentation, but I encourage you to ask your kids about all they are experiencing here in Annapolis. We have some amazing facilities and an even more amazing faculty and staff, in fact, world class, who will make sure that your midshipmen graduate with nothing short of a life-changing experience. And I guarantee that graduation is the goal your midshipmen will be looking forward to over the next 4 years. I can tell you from personal experience that there is no greater feeling than celebrating that achievement by tossing your cover in the air with all your friends who have become as close as family over the previous 4 years. After graduation, your midshipmen will take all of the lessons they will have learned here in Annapolis and carry them forward to the Navy and Marine Corps team. And I'll be honest with you, this is where the adventure truly begins. Your midshipmen will be selected into a variety of Navy communities, such as surface warfare, submarines, aviation, Navy SEALs, explosive ordnance disposal, or information warfare, and about 25% of the class will join the United States Marine Corps. Ours is a timeless mission of producing combat leaders of character for our Navy and Marine Corps team. Naval Academy graduates have distinguished themselves both in war and peace since 1845, helping to preserve our nation's freedom and grow its prosperity. Ultimately, it will be your sons and daughters, the great class of 2024, who will become the next generation of leaders for our Navy, our Marine Corps, and our country as a whole. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the trust you have given us as we develop your sons and daughters into both midshipmen and leaders of integrity. Moms and dads, this is going to be a trying time for your sons and daughters over the next 6 weeks. If they're like any other plebe in the history of this academy, they're going to have second thoughts about their decision to come to the Naval Academy. Please rest assured we wouldn't have admitted them if they couldn't succeed here. So when they call you in a few days with a little bit of doubt, please be reassuring. They can do it. They just need to take it one day at a time. Once again, I welcome you to the Naval Academy family, and I look forward to getting to know you over the next few years. I'm now going to turn over the presentation to our Academic Dean and Provost, Dr. Andy Phillips. Go Navy, beat Army.
Welcome. Today is an amazing day, one of the 2 best days of the year, The other, of course, is graduation and commissioning. But today is the start of that incredible journey of transformation. In just a moment, the Commandant is going to tell you that at 5:30 every morning, your son and daughter is going to be up for an hour of physical exercise. And I know what you'll be thinking. Yes, I do. You'll be thinking, ha, you don't know my son or daughter. 5:30? My kid hasn't seen 5:30 any morning. Well, it'll work. It'll work here. That is the start of transformation. Naturally, some of you have some anxiety, probably about how challenging the next 4 years will be, and what lies ahead for your plebe. Of course, whatever anxiety you're feeling is nothing compared to the anxiety they have. You didn't have your head shaved, your clothes taken from you, and God forbid, your cell phone confiscated. Imagine that, no cell phone for the summer. Well, let's talk about success and what matters most in college to create success. So let's talk about what success looks like and what it takes to be successful here at Navy. Over the past several years, our graduation rate has been approximately 88 to 89% in 4 years. 47 months for those of you who are really counting. Well, is that any good? Almost 9 out of 10? What do you think? It turns out that the national average 4-year graduation rate is only 29%. So yes, 89%, that's good. That's very good. I'd like to talk a little about what factors support us in getting to that number. We're getting to 89% in 47 months with a program that requires about 140 credits, 120 of which is normal for other places. We're heavy on both engineering and the humanities, and we require physical competition of everyone, leadership and character development, and we don't give you your summers off. That's a full plate, and you don't get to 89% graduation rates by accident or by passively spectating. It takes effort, intentional effort. Well, the first key ingredient in success is challenge. I wonder how many of you heard your son or daughter say, and perhaps this was last fall over dinner, I want to go to the Naval Academy because it's the easiest of my college options. If that was said, I bet you burst out laughing. I would have. Probably didn't happen that way, right? More likely they said something like, Mom, Dad, I'm scared. I want to do this, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can do it. It's going to be really hard. Or maybe you were the one that said that. Maybe you said, Son, do you think you can do this? My God, you don't even make your own bed. Well, the Naval Academy should be hard. You would expect no less, right? Your son, your daughter, they chose us because they want the challenge, and we want them to embrace that challenge. Students will not rise to a low set bar. It isn't worth the time and the effort to do so. But if you set a high bar, if you set a high standard, that is worthy of the effort. And that's a fundamental principle of this place. And we're here to help them meet that challenge by putting them in close face-to-face contact with our faculty and staff, notwithstanding the coronavirus, of course. We'll have no TAs or grad students. Your sons and daughters will be taught by full-time committed faculty members committed to the success of your plebe. The plebes wear name tags too, so we'll know them by name. There's simply no hiding around here. And we'll get them engaged and hopefully excited about their learning. We will not only have them learn fundamental principles and theories, but we'll also have them practice those ideas with actual applications. There's nothing like having some chemical solution blow up in your face like that guy in the top left picture. I'll bet whatever he was learning there really stuck with him throughout his life. And of course, the class sizes are small, rarely exceeding 20 for anything we do. That's how we get to know your midshipmen personally, by name, and what they need to be successful. Whether the class is a small lecture section or a hands-on lab, the interactions are personal and direct. But of course, the big question is, what will things look like this fall? In some cases, this may be what normal looks like this fall. But because you don't develop leaders and you don't develop leadership online, we will have the midshipmen back. And to the greatest extent possible, we'll be teaching them all face-to-face with our full-time faculty. But that's to the greatest extent possible, not 100% face-to-face all the time. We do have to manage the risk and keep everyone safe and healthy. But in the end, leadership development is a face-to-face contact sport. It's the direct and personal interactions that make leaders out of midshipmen. So we'll do our best to keep everyone safe and healthy and still develop leaders. And of course, there are really cool out-of-class learning experiences like these. Everything you see here is part of a course we teach. From building and testing a canoe made of concrete, to chasing tornadoes, to building and racing a car designed by midshipmen to run on alternative fuels, to developing and testing an underwater autonomous vehicle, and to my personal favorite, the design of a water purification unit. In that case, the midshipmen designed and built the water purifier, put it out at the edge of the Severn River, which you see in the picture, and had the faculty instructor drink the water that they pumped from the river. How's that for audacity? And lastly, but by no means least, when you need it, support, which everyone will need at some point. Our team is here specifically to develop your midshipmen. That's the most essential ingredient for success, a positive, supportive learning environment that sets you up to be successful. And notice what you see here, midshipmen helping midshipmen. It's a team effort. We are all focused on success. Of course, many of you might be wondering what sorts of majors your sons and daughters might be able to choose. Well, here they are, and we'll give them plenty of time to learn about these before we ask them to choose one. We know that many of these are majors that your sons and daughters know nothing about, and that's okay. We actually expect that. So we'll tell them about each one, and we'll let them ask questions and decide what excites them. And then they'll pick a major sometime in early March. So they'll have about 8 months to think about what they want to do, and our academic advisors will help guide them to a good choice. But for now, for this summer, the emphasis is on learning to be part of a team, to follow others, to lead others, to build character, and to develop a commitment to serve. You're going to see a difference right away. You're going to see the transformation right away. We've already taught them some English and some math. They're already learning proper English grammar and sentence structure. All sentences must start and end with sir or ma'am. Sir, yes, sir. Ma'am, I'll find out, ma'am. And as for math, we'll teach them about numbers, the most important number of which is 24, the class of 24. You'll hear them shout 24 all day, every day this summer. Tomorrow will be physics, gravity and force and resistance, push-ups, lots and lots of push-ups. And then chemistry. Must have H2O. The body needs H2O. So starting right away and continuing for several more weeks, they'll take placement exams so that we can determine what classes to enroll them in. And we'll start advising them on what lies ahead in the academic program, including the options for their major. But for you, just enjoy witnessing the transformation of your son or daughter right before your eyes. We're very excited, and you should be too. You've done a tremendous job preparing your plebes to get here, and we're so thankful for you for doing that. The foundation you put in place is extremely important, and we're going to take that foundation and build a leader of character from it, starting today. So thank you for everything you've done, and enjoy the rest of this incredible ride. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce my colleague and friend, our athletic director, Mr. Chet Gladchuk.
Welcome, parents. Chet Gladchuk, Director of Athletics here at the United States Naval Academy. And I wish that I could be with you in person today, but what a great day it is for you and your family, and certainly your son or your daughter. Even though we miss you and wish we were together, it's a day that it brings great excitement to all. Today, I-Day is a transformational event in so many ways. You're your young man or your young lady now will realize a greater sense of responsibility, greater accountability, know that there'll be some sacrifices made. The commitment that they've made to the United States of America is for real, and it's their first step in developing leadership in which they'll be tremendous assets and great leaders to serve our nation. So congratulations to you as well, not just to, again, your son and your daughter for making the grade and being here, but what it took on your part to pull it together, to support them in the ways that you have. And again, you've realized a dream come true today, that being the induction of a wonderful new class of 2024. You're a big part of it. Okay, I'd like to spend a few moments just to speak with you about the physical mission. And one thing that's really important to know is that the physical mission at the United States Naval Academy is part of the broader requirement, the broader context of what this academy is all about. We live our mission every single day, morally, mentally, and physically. And the qualities that we deal with regard to the education through the physical mission is the aspiration for physical excellence. Excellence within the brigade in everything that we do. We develop and we foster competition, intercollegiate competition, competition amongst ourselves, and we build the qualities of leadership, teamwork, character, passion for winning, a lifelong physical fitness and commitment to just that, and of course, a will to win, which is so much a part of the ambitions of all of us to be very, very good at everything that we do. Okay, at the Naval Academy, we offer 33 varsity sports, and we're proud of every one of them. The average at the Division I level is 16. So obviously, in offering 33, it's a huge component of the educational mission again, and our aspirations to build leadership through the tangible and intangible qualities that come through competition. Equity is a big part of it as well. We treat all of our men and our women on an equitable basis, and the resources are commensurate across the board. One of the top 5 programs in the nation in terms of broad-based programs. Over almost 1,400 of our midshipmen of the 4,400 are involved in some aspect of Division I intercollegiate athletics. Winning is a part of our existence, and it's something we aspire to, as I mentioned, in every dimension. And winning seasons are the norm. We are constantly in the mix with regard to the championship for our Patriot League. And we're also aligned with the American Athletic Conference, where we've been one of the top programs in that league as well. For those that don't make the varsity programs, there are other options as well. Your son or daughter will be offered an opportunity to be involved in the club sports. Club sports, again, deal with the intercollegiate competition in a different context, not quite as competitive and not quite as demanding as Division I. But again, you'll note that there are quite a few opportunities there, from rugby and ice hockey to softball, fencing, karate, etc. So when you think about 92% of all of our midshipmen were varsity letter winners in high school and are competitors, and we're former athletes, there's something for everyone at the Naval Academy. In addition, what we say is that everyone breaks a sweat. Again, being so much a part of the character and the development and the educational, again, aspirations of our midshipmen, breaking that sweat is key every afternoon. So if someone's not involved with intercollegiate, whether it be the club or whether it be the varsity programs, there's always intramurals, which is a requirement, and over 2,200 or half of our midshipmen actually participate in intramurals, both in the fall and in the spring. Another requirement for graduation is the physical education program. So you can see in this slide, fourth class, which of course are the plebes, are involved in martial arts. They're involved in combatives from boxing, wrestling, and of course every sailor or Marine should be able to swim. So swimming is part of our curriculum, right from the onset. And passing these courses are required in order to graduate at the Academy. In addition, every one of our athletes, and I speak of them in the broad context of the brigade, because as I mentioned, they all are our athletes, has to pass the physical readiness test. That's all 4,400 at some point in the course of the year. They've got to pass the requirements that are stated in this slide right here. The 1.5-mile run, as you can see, for both men and for women is required at different times, but still something that they train for on a regular basis. In addition, there are a number of push-ups and plank, which is a military exercise that calls for a lot of endurance, but that is something that they must meet as well. So passing all of these particular components of the physical readiness test is going to be required of everyone. Competing in football is at the highest level is something we take great pride in. And we've got a stadium that's second to none. It's ranked number 1 in our conference. You can see in this slide, it's a tremendous opportunity that brings together the pageantry of intercollegiate athletics and the pageantry of a beautiful fall day in Annapolis. We come together constantly for our home games with over 34,000 we'll have in that stadium, and we'll play a wide range of incredible competition against some of the best in the country. The home schedule here, as you can see, features in that first game of the season, Notre Dame. Now, I know that we're dealing with some social distancing and we're dealing with a situation here with the COVID that we've got to attend to in terms of making certain we create a safe environment. But Notre Dame on September 5th, and then right down the line, you can see there are 5 other home games in which some of those contests, especially Memphis and Houston in particular, will be ranked nationally, and it'll set the stage for a great matchup right here in Annapolis on those dates that are listed. If you can't make a home game or you're too far away to be able to travel to Annapolis, or there may be other reasons why you can't make it, as you can see, we show up pretty much all over the country. We're down in New Orleans this year. We go up to Colorado and East Carolina, down in Texas, Florida. And of course, if you got the big one against Army up in Philadelphia. But again, many parents will come to those games as well and follow the team on the road, and become part of the Navy Spirit group and put that blue and gold on, don your Navy gear and come and support the team. We certainly can use that help on the road. ESPN every year does a national poll, and every year they ask the nation what is the most cherished and the most savored intercollegiate rivalry in all of college athletics. And that rivalry is even more so than just football. It's all of our sports. But in the meantime, I tell you, we focus obviously on a national scale with an Army-Navy football game in Philadelphia. It's a special event, and you being part of the family now, I would think it's something you truly want to capitalize on and be a part of as we go forward. It's in many cases, it's termed as a basket list type of event, and attending it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about that comes with that matchup. This year, as I mentioned, we go back to Philadelphia and we play the Army-Navy game in Philly, which is the home of Army-Navy. Through the course of the 4 years that you'll be with us, you'll see it not only in Philadelphia, but we'll be taking it up to the Meadowlands as well, up in New York. So stay tuned, stay abreast, and again, be a part of something that will be something you'll never forget for the rest of your life, especially when, of course, Navy prevails. You should have received all your information. Right now, the game is just about sold out. But what I've done for all of our plebe parents, it being your first time through, is I've reserved over 1,000 tickets just in case you've missed the scene. So again, we have you covered. Tickets have been reserved. They're in the queue, and follow up simply by addressing it with our ticket office. Identify yourself as a Navy plebe parent, and if you'd like to secure those tickets, we can make that happen. We're going to limit, however, everyone to 4 because, again, it is a very special event. But in the meantime, don't worry about it. We'll find a way to make it work. We want you to be part of the team as soon as you possibly can be in that athletic context. If you can't make it and you're still wondering what's going on, or you want to follow your son's or daughter's team, if they're, whether it be in club sport program, intercollegiate, regardless of the program, you can follow it on the webpage, which is listed right here, navysports.com. One of the most comprehensive web pages of any intercollegiate program in the country. More information than you could imagine. And again, if you can't find it for whatever the reason, there's a link there to contact us and contact our staff. We'll make sure we get it to you right away. Also, social media is huge. We're one of the top social media entities in all of college athletics. We actually are number one in our conference, the American Athletic Conference, and number one in our league, the Patriot League, in terms of disseminating communication through social media. So look for us in any of these entities, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat. You'll find navysports.com. Remember, in the final analysis, we're rallying around the flag. You're part of the team. You're something very, very special because you're special to us, and you're part of the energy, the enthusiasm, and the fiber of what this institution is all about. It's the excitement, and it all revolves around, in so many ways, the intercollegiate enthusiasm that comes with our program. So always remember, above it all, expect to win, go Navy, beat Army. And best of luck to you and your son and your daughter. We'll be there for them every step of the way.
Hello, family and friends. I am Captain T.R. Buchanan, Commandant of Midshipmen at the United States Naval Academy. I'd like to thank you for trusting us with your children as they embark on their journey to become naval officers in our great United States Navy and United States Marine Corps. Their choice to pursue this path is one that they will look on fondly throughout their lives, and giving back in something that is greater than themselves. First, a little bit about myself. I'm a proud member of the United States Naval Academy graduating class of 1992, a career submarine officer, a Navy junior, where both my father and father-in-law were classes 1968 and 1965 respectively. And I just look forward to, along with my wife Kelly, meeting as many of you as possible in the coming days, weeks, and months. Again, welcome. Now let me talk about Induction Day. Induction Day, it's finally here. Again, welcome Naval Academy family. Induction Day is a high-stress day of check-ins, gear issue, overview of basic military responsibilities, and additionally, as we adapt to the new COVID-19 environment, we are making sure that we meet all medical and safety precautions so that we may execute a safe and successful plebe summer. Plebe summer training is essential for the success of every midshipman in becoming future naval officers. Plebe summer is where we build that strong foundation so that midshipman candidates can be successful in their development as a midshipman and as future officers. You heard plainly from the superintendent about our Naval Academy mission. It all begins right now, right here on Induction Day. Certainly, the first and foremost important element of becoming a leader in the Navy Marine Corps is to first become a great follower. Following and operating as a team is essential so that they may thrive as leaders. Certainly, up to this point, it has been an exceptionally challenging year for the Naval Academy, our nation, and the world. But we have the greatest of teams to tackle these challenges. Please be rest assured that every measure has been made to protect the well-being of your sons and daughters during this initial training as midshipmen. And upon successful completion of Induction Day, which doesn't take a tremendous amount to be successful, every midshipman candidate will enter a 14-day restriction of movement and isolation period. where they will house within Bancroft Hall until COVID-19 test results are complete and they are cleared medically and safe to execute plebe summer training. And that will occur on around the 14th, 15th, and 16th of July. I've directed my staff and the plebe summer detailers, those midshipmen of the upper classes that are responsible for fourth class midshipmen, to provide positive pressure with a purpose. What is the purpose, you say? The purpose is to get sufficiently trained midshipmen so that they may join the brigade at reform and our transition into academic year 21 successfully. Pressure is required for midshipmen to be able to work under this high stress environment. Our midshipmen will be operating under a constant strain, whether they are plebes or whether they are upper class, throughout their entire 47-month experience as a midshipman. This is a big transition. This day, this induction day, and this summer will be unlike few others that they will experience in their lifetimes. Plebe summer is that transition. From I-Day, and this I-Day will look a lot different than historical I-Days, to how they get to and from their activities, how they execute all elements of plebe summer, and even to the extent that some of the events that have occurred in previous summers will not occur this summer. It's a big transition. We will be watching this transition closely, and I can assure you all the safety measures will be in place to do this successfully. Plebe summer will be broken down into 4 weeks of essential and necessary professional development for each midshipman. The focus is the core mission of the United States Naval Academy, which, as you've heard before, is to develop midshipmen morally, mentally, and physically into future Navy and Marine Corps officers so that we may graduate leaders in those domains. Morally, they will be brought into a learning environment on character development, learning the lessons from those that have led sailors and Marines, as well as laying the foundation for their moral and ethical development. Mentally, midshipmen will be mentally tested through the rigorous application of rates that normally come out of reef points, and developing their personal grit, stamina, and discipline to persevere and accomplish a mission or an exercise, as well as to learn adaptively in a high-stress environment. Physically, they will be tested every day and exposed to developing a physical routine and habits that can last a lifetime. This ranges from a daily workout regimen or through execution of obstacle courses or other training combatives. Building teamwork is essential in the Navy and Marine Corps. It is a team-based organization. And before a midshipman can lead sailors or Marines, they must lead themselves and follow others. We will test every candidate to mentally start thinking and acting as a team. Their class, their company are going to be key and essential to that foundation. When one person fails, we all fail. It's up to the team and the family to build support for one another. Building this teamwork begins with harnessing the diversity and unique and different perspectives of every member of the class of 24. The training provided during plebe summer, whether it be virtual in this new environment or face-to-face with various detailers throughout the 4-week plebe summer will provide a secure foundation for future success. And it is that start of this foundation that will enable success throughout the 47-month developmental program. A typical plebe summer day looks as displayed on the slide. Begins with reveille, executes to PEP, which is the physical education program, coupled with cleaning and executing breakfast to get the appropriate nourishment throughout the day, replete with professional training, lunchtime activities, more professional training, a company sports period, dinner, drill, personal time, which will most assuredly include cleaning in this COVID-19 environment, and then blue and gold, which is the Naval Academy's alma mater. Lights out and taps, and then ready for the next day. And a Sunday, of course, will give them opportunities to pursue religious services here on the yard. In responding to the COVID-19 environment, we've taken some additional actions that are important for the safety and well-being of your sons and daughters. The listed items on your slide are the main efforts to ensure our safety and safe execution of plebe summer. Every member of the class of 24 will be tested for COVID-19 upon their arrival. This will include all plebe summer detailers, and once cleared, they will then execute company training in pods of 40. The Naval Academy is implementing a mandatory 14-day period of restriction of movement within Bancroft Hall. And during this restriction of movement, a virtual learning environment will be utilized to provide additional training during those 14 days. Daily medical screenings will be required to properly track the wellness and safety of every midshipman and the staff members that are interacting with those midshipmen. And through the efforts of our medical, safety, and food service departments, we have ensured every means possible have been met to allow your sons and daughters to safely execute the plebe summer mission. And also include enforcement of social distancing standards and use of masks where appropriate. There will be lots of opportunities for communication. I suggest the most valuable ones are letters, certainly care packages, but the care package needs to take into account the COVID-19 environment, please. Your points of contact, which will be known here shortly, will include the company officer, senior enlisted leaders that are charged with the success of the plebe summer, their assigned chaplain, and then certainly official websites of the usna.edu and then the usnaparents.com from the Alumni Association. Over these next few weeks, your sons and daughters will need positive encouragement and your support. Your support is essential for their success. For further information on communication, please refer to those official websites. And then also, I'd call your attention to @USNA Commandant. I maintain an Instagram account where I will be capturing and communicating with parents and midshipmen alike throughout that social media forum. That's the only place that you'll find me. And if you haven't already, please follow me. I'm looking forward to meeting you all very soon in person, getting to know your sons and daughters during their time at the Naval Academy. Go Navy, beat Army, Daunt out.